get it started now. Freedom, 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 freedom. My freedom begins at Life Force Canada.
Welcome to Life Force Canada. I'm Karen Klassen. As you know, we are creating a parallel society and the framework which will allow for all of us to explore and live in true freedom within the context of natural law, which is really what the topic is today. I'm going to be identifying 8 principles, 7 foundational principles of natural law, and then 1 lost principle of natural law. So my presentation is going to be probably 50 minutes or so. And as I mentioned, we'll go into a Q&A. We know in the matrix of reality, there is but one law that is working at all times. This law is hidden so that you can be controlled. Once you begin to stand under natural law, you can no longer be controlled. We've been talking about natural law for the past 2 years, and every time we do a deeper dive. And so as we move forward, we know that natural law is the way to move out of this fictional reality that we're in. Again, as we move out of the public domain, the government jurisdiction, also known as the birth certificate system, the control matrix, the human slavery system, and cross the bridge into the private, which is the domain of the living sovereign man, woman, we need to really embrace natural law. To truly be free, we need to step into self-governance. And I believe that knowing and integrating the 8 principles of natural law is going to lead us there. As you know, Life Force Canada is really creating a foundation of lawful private membership associations, also known as PMAs. So whether you are creating a PMA or not, you will need to have a solid foundation of what natural law is and how to bring these principles into your life so that you can thrive. The journey of studying natural law is really empowering because it really teaches you how to be truly sovereign, a true sovereign spiritual being. It also teaches you how to really exercise your spiritual powers and defend your natural rights using the laws of nature, which we know are binding and immutable. Now, this material I am about to share with you, it has been hidden for centuries. The teachings are from Mark Passio. Many of you are very familiar with Mark. He is an exceptional, wise man. And he wants everyone to share his knowledge. He's even said that we can share his PowerPoint presentation slides. I've actually created my own, but his work is phenomenal. I highly recommend you check him out. Also, David Nagel. I've been following him for decades. He's a great business coach, and he has been teaching universal laws. These men remind us that truth has always been here, right? It is our perception that must be aligned with it. Truth is at war with the lie, with the mind control, as we know, right? Truth is not easy to hear. David and Mark both remind us that, truth can be really uncomfortable. So if you hear something you don't like, just breathe and feel the emotion. This is a process of truth discovery. I highly recommend, again, that you do your own research as well. Now, the role of knowledge. Since people do not already have the things they say they want, it follows logically that the knowledge of the requirements of obtaining the things they say they want either must be absent, or if present, that knowledge must be willfully being ignored. As long as this knowledge continues to remain unknown or ignored, the manifestation of the desired condition, I'm just putting in here, heaven on earth, will be impossible. So we're moving into possibilities by knowing natural law. This is a word that we really need to look at. The word occult has acquired a dark connotation, but the true definition of the word occult simply means hidden or conceal, to keep hidden from the eye so it cannot see. This knowledge is hidden from humanity. Only the few at the top of the pyramid know the power of natural law. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have the ignorant, right? Ignorance is defined as lack of knowledge, the masses. So we look at the image on the left, we can see the Luciferian beast system that I talk about quite often. Anytime we vote in the system, we are voting in the beast system. So as we move into self-governance, we can begin to let that reality dissolve. So Mark refers to us, all of us here, and those who are listening in the future as deculting, which is taking information out of hiding. Since these principles were hidden, they have destroyed the fabric of society and put us into bondage. So we are all decultists. I love that. So why has such knowledge been hidden from humanity? We all know this. Hidden knowledge creates an illusionary power differential that gives those with the concealed information the ability to falsely control the masses, because common people do not understand natural law. Most people fail to realize that words, symbols, and myths have meaning that manifests reality. Sandra Quinn mentioned this in her presentations recently in regards to symbolism. They do not want you to know that within your unconscious, subconscious, superconscious mind are thoughts that are hidden within your body-mind consciousness. To rise up, you're to become aware of what is hidden within. We've all been taught really to fear our own mind and emotions. And we can see this in humanity when asked, how often does one meditate? One of the main reasons why a lot of people do not meditate is because they are fearful of their own mind and the energy that lives inside of them. Okay, we're just going to define natural law. So I'm sharing this so that you have clarity of meaning, right? We need to amplify meaning of words. Natural is defined as inherent, having a base in nature, reality, and truth, not made or caused by humankind. So the word natural as nature, which means spirit, the spirit domain that operates in the unseen realm, and all is of or related to spirit. All manifestation starts in the spiritual and appears, shows up in the physical. So people believe the spiritual domain and the physical domain are separate, and this is not true. You are still in the spiritual domain as you are in the physical. So natural is unseen spiritual laws. And we all know this law is defined as an existing condition which is binding and immutable, cannot be changed. And then Mark talks about a working definition. You've seen this on the Life First Canada resource page. Universal, non-man-made, binding, and immutable conditions that govern the consequences of behavior. Natural law is a body of universal spiritual principles which acts as the governing dynamics of consciousness. It's otherwise known as moral law. And it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. These principles of the universe work flawlessly. The workings of natural law and the principles I'm going to be sharing with you does not care what you don't believe or believe. The laws work no matter what. So human belief is irrelevant when it comes to natural law. It is nothing personal. It is an impersonal force. It doesn't matter if you don't accept it or not. Beliefs shape your reality in a negative way if you're not really aligned with truth. And we can see that out there in the world right now. To know freedom is to know nature. So here we define consciousness. Being conscious is the ability of a man or woman to recognize patterns and meaning with respect to events taking place or have taken place in your life, right? Both within oneself and in the realm in which the self exists and operates. The ability to accurately perceive truth in what is happening. Consciousness is heightened awareness. We have forgotten where our rights come from. Human rights are natural and inborn, granted from the Creator. They come from our humanity under the law of nature, natural law and justice, and always has been. It's the primary fundamental force in the universe. And it is the body of universal spiritual laws which governs consciousness. And consciousness creates through each of us using our free will. Okay, and I'm just going to define principles. I think this is so powerful, especially for those of you who are creating your PMAs. I mean, this is important for any one of us, no matter who you are. This is important in how we attract relationships into our life, especially in our intentional communities moving forward. Principles are defined as first, foremost, the most necessary, that which matter most, or what is truly valued. Connection between anyone must be based on principles or values first. And this is what really creates a solid foundation for all of us. Makes sense. Okay, I'm going to now share with you that natural law is expressed through the 7 basic foundational principles, plus an 8th principle, which binds the 7 here together. Those who know and adhere to these principles possess the master key, the master key through which universal wisdom, including the knowledge of the requirements to obtaining what we desire, which is, again, what I am calling creating heaven on earth. These are also known as Hermetic principles. I also want to share with you that Hermes was believed to have written the Emerald Tablets. So these are the principles that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. I'm going to start off with the principle of mentalism. Now, our minds are the most powerful force in the universe, as you know. It is a central concept of the first of the 7 universal laws. So this principle of mentalism embodies the truth that the entire universe is infinite consciousness, also known as the divine mind or source energy, of which everything and everyone is an integral aspect. This is the omnipresent force that lives within all life, including earth, trees, you and I, and all things. Now, everything is a manifestation of the mind. For anything to exist, thoughts come first. Thoughts create conditions, therefore be responsible for everything that you create. This is when we look at self-governing, we look at self-responsibility, self-reliance. And we have to remember too that all thoughts must go somewhere. They exist in the collective consciousness. We can see how the most of humanity has fear-based thoughts as a state of our world, right? That we've manifested such. So therefore, we need to become conscious of what we're thinking, and if we want to really create a beautiful future. This principle of mentalism also explains that the true nature of energy and power and matter, and why these are ultimately under the control of the mind, of your mind. As you begin to bring self-mastery into your life, you begin to activate the divine mind within you. And we have these powerful capabilities that we're going to be experiencing in the very near future, which is very, very exciting. You've probably all heard of the Cherokee parable of the 2 wolves. It demonstrates this principle very well. The story goes that in every person, there are two wolves. One is good and one is evil. And every single day, the two wolves are battling. When asked which of the two wolves win, the response is the one you feed. The process to creating a new earth requires a strong mindset, a clear goal of the reality that we want to achieve. Our brain has been wired in this control matrix to be focusing on the negativity. You see this in the news, you see this in the movies, keeping us what I call below the line. And we often carry self-limiting beliefs based on fear, worry, and anxiety. So being conscious of your thoughts allows you to really catch yourself in the moment. It stops you from getting carried away by pessimistic concepts. And I see a lot of people, even in the freedom movement, creating pessimistic futures. So we really need to begin to become very aware of the thoughts that we have about the future that we want to create. The next principle is the principle of correspondence. The principle of correspondence reminds you that your outer world is 360-degree mirror. Everywhere you look, you are seeing yourself reflected back to you. As above, so below, as within, as without. So your outer world is an expression of the thoughts you choose to think, the beliefs that you choose to have, the emotions, the feelings, your attitude. So therefore, if you can change your inner world, that means that you can dramatically change what's going on in the outer world. Now, we can't really control the collective outer world. However, as more and more people begin to recognize natural law and the principles of natural law, we will begin focusing collectively on a beautiful future, an empowered reality that is available to all of us. So the law of correspondence says that your relationships, your health, what you earn in every single part of your life solely reflects on a one-to-one basis back to you the way you think and feel. We need to really breathe this principle in, because when we really embrace it, we will no longer be in the below the line in regards to blaming others for our life. We will no longer create guilt, shame, all of those lower perceived negative energies will begin to dissolve because we'll be taking full responsibility for our life. And again, the world is full of people who look at the mirror of life and they really don't like the reflection that they see. So what do? They pound the mirror, they try to change the mirror, they get frustrated at the mirror, and they complain and they curse the mirror. And this is equivalent of trying to change the external world instead of working on ourselves. Again, you have little or no control when it comes to the external world, but you have total control when it comes to your inner realm. And as a result, you have total control of your future destiny. We all have this incredible power to create a beautiful world, as I mentioned. The principle of vibration. Everything that exists and does not exist in the universe is in a state of dynamic movement. Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. Everything is made of energy, including you. There is nothing that is solid. Your physical body is not solid. Matter is energy, resonating at a certain frequency. There is no such thing as rest, death. You cannot go anywhere in creation that something is at complete rest. Just really breathe these words in. The law of attraction is actually based on a more fundamental law of vibration, which states that everything you experience is nothing more than just that, a vibration. So all vibrations tend to rise upwards in the scale of eternal harmony. So we are consistently and constantly rising up. We are spiraling up. This law explains that everything in the universe that we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch together with our emotions is a manifestation of energy at various levels of vibration. So again, your physical body is not solid. You are pure energy vibrating at a certain frequency known as your unique energy signature. You are unique. You are life force energy. And we're here to live a life force enhanced life, to experience a life force enhanced body, to experience a life force enhanced environment. We live in a world of duality. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. The principle of polarity. This is where extremes meet. All paradoxes may be reconciled. For everything to exist, there has to be an equal and exact opposite. So everything has an opposite, as you know, hot, cold, good, bad, inside, outside. Everything has a down, every down has an up. And the existence of these opposites is vital in helping us to gain a deeper perspective of our own lives. This principle also provides the fact that there's no absolutes in nature. For example, when we refer to hot and cold, there's actually no absolute hot and absolute cold. They are rather degrees of hotness or degrees of coldness in comparison to each other. So that, again, there are no extremes. Nothing is solid. Rather, degrees of the same thing. Just like when I share about politics, we've got the left and the right, but it's actually two wings of the same beast. Everything is just varying degrees. Another example are the concepts of love and hate, which again are only degrees of the same emotion, with the vibration of fear causing a distortion, right? A distortion of hate, the perception. There could be no absolute love and absolute hate, and the experience of these two polarities, as with all experience, will vary according to the perceptions of each individual. So natural law and all these principles are calling to us to have a higher perspective on reality. And yes, we are like the little goldfish going to the right. The principle of polarity highlights the possibility for mental transmutation, also known as alchemy. I teach what I refer to as the evolution of relationships, and I've witnessed many times how someone in a relationship can be experiencing hate towards their beloved, towards their partner, and this hatred can be transmuted into love within moments. So in alchemy, the hate of something or someone can be transmuted to love, forgiveness. It's what I refer to as the enlightened love cycle. It seems like a simple enough concept, but what can the principle polarity teach you? Again, it helps you to value and appreciate all the aspects of our lives so that we're not taking anything for granted. It also teaches that every man or woman is to establish his or herself as a neutral point, exactly between the two poles, which position is the place of balance or omnipotence. True power is here, my friends. This principle also reminds us that there are no mistakes. You are where you are for a reason. Every experience offers an opportunity to learn. And in many situations, we have to experience what we don't want in order to truly know what we do want. Again, contrasts, right? So the principle of polarity, therefore, is extremely important in the process of evolving consciousness, because we're all on that sacred path right now, that path back to the divine creator, awakening that divine level of consciousness within ourselves. The principle of rhythm. This principle governs a movement of the stars and also manifests in the mineral and vegetable kingdoms. It can be observed in the rising and setting of the sun, in the moon, the ebb and flow of ideas, creativity, coming and going of the seasons, and in the rhythmic swing, again, of consciousness and unconsciousness. Everything flows out and in. Everything is based in cycles. I know a lot of you sometimes grow impatient as to us changing our reality. This is why it's not changing as fast as we maybe want it to. It's the principle of rhythm. We need to know that the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, right? Rhythm compensates. So when you're on your path and you kind of get off track, you get sidetracked some way, you get distracted somehow, the principle of rhythm will bring you back onto your path. Because nature's divine plan is harmony. Friction is caused in those who are out of alignment with their mind, body, and soul. So harmony for any man or woman is the adjustment of his or her life to connect to their divine purpose. We're not going to feel good all the time. What matters is your level of awareness of how you choose to move with the rhythm of your own life. If you're feeling below the line, you're taking time to meditate, to feel what's inside of you, what fears are coming up, what limited beliefs are coming up, what is no longer true for the amazing man or woman you are today. So no matter how much we are swinging from the positive to the negative, always trust that the rhythm of life is always guiding you to greater harmony. The principle of rhythm demands that every expenditure of energy, there must be a time of restoration or renewal of expended power. So how many of you have been feeling burnt out? This means you are out of alignment with the principle of rhythm. We see it in the periods of sleeping and waking, winter and summer, life and death. This principle governs the cycle of action and renewal. A lot of times we are doing, and we forget to just stop, to just be. It is so important right now. And as you know, we're going to be talking about this more in 2023. Our health and well-being is extremely important. To really know what it means to renew and recharge our mind, our emotions, our body. No one escapes this principle in any realm of nature where energy is expended. So if one labors, one must rest. If we're resting, then we must labor. I think I want to delete that word labor. You guys can help me come up with another word. The principle of cause and effect. Ralph Waldo Emerson called the principle of cause and effect the law of all laws. This principle decrees that whatever you send into the universe comes back, right? Action and reaction are equal and opposites. Every action has a reaction or consequence. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. There are always consequences to your thoughts, to your actions, to your behaviors. So everything in the entire universe happens according to this law. Your physical health, your relationships, the respect you earn, the money you make are all aspects of causation. So you must concentrate on the cause, and the effect will automatically take care of itself. Too many of us are focused on the effect. So this is about us learning how to say good things to everyone, positive words, kind words, treating everyone with respect, taking care of our body, especially looking at how you talk to yourself, right? Self-talk is extremely important to become aware of. This principle is also referred to as the law of compensation or karma. We all know this karma: as you sow, so shall you reap. Every cause you start in motion, every thought, every action, every good or bad, has an unavoidable result and reaction. We're often easily distracted and we miss messages which make us believe that we have a lot of bad karma. But those situations are simply signs for us to course correct, right? Course correct only, and move forward towards, again, to a higher purpose. The journey is not about being perfect. It's about undoing what is not who you are, so that you can become who you're really meant to be, which is divinely empowered, right? We've all heard this before: where attention goes, energy flows. The present reality is a creation of past thoughts, individually and collectively. So I'll just tune into that statement for a moment. The present reality that we're experiencing right now is a creation of past thoughts from ourselves and the collective. And these can be unconscious thoughts, fear-based thoughts. This is why it's so important to learn skills on how to let go of a painful past or stop focusing on a bleak future. So whatever we focus on, right, that's where energy goes. I'm not too sure who wrote this quote, but I thought I'd add this here. If we always pay joyfully in advance for what we want, life will be like a loving mother who pours the most beautiful and important goods of life over us. I thought that was beautiful. The principle of gender. This principle is also commonly known as the law of gestation and explains the process of moving from seeds of thought to creating physical results. So the term gender is slowly concerned with the act of creation. Just as every seed of vegetable or fruit or every birth of a child has a gestation period, so does every seed of thought have an incubation period. Sometimes, again, we can get impatient and we want our ideas, our intentional communities to be created. We are always sowing seeds of thought. We are in a preparation stage right now. And eventually it will move into form. We will experience physical results when the time is right. So we need to trust and have patience. It's important to not confuse the term gender with that of sex. It doesn't have anything to do with whether you're male or female and a physical body. We each have the divine masculine and the divine feminine qualities inside of us. So by nature, the masculine is a giving energy while the feminine receives. Breathe out information in. Masculine is a giving energy. Masculine gives. The feminine receives. This chart shows you how to cultivate both of those aspects in your life. Every man has feminine and masculine energy. Every woman has masculine and feminine energy within them. Many of us in society have the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine. And this is why we can see a lot of anger out there in the world. A lot of people living below the line perpetually. Eckhart Tolle, in his book A New Earth, he speaks about how our earth has been more masculine for thousands of years and how we need to bring in the divine feminine to balance it. He states that because of the imbalance, the ego has had supremacy in the human psyche. So we're now moving into the balance as we are embracing the divine feminine energy in all of us. So those who are fighting against the feminine, the divine feminine within themselves and without, will struggle unnecessarily. So when men are against women, they are resisting themselves. They are resisting their own feminine energy. They are resisting their own divine feminine energy. So when women are fighting men, they are rebelling against their own divine masculine energies, seeking to really create balance. So we're going to be learning skill sets on how to really cultivate harmonic relationships going forward. So balancing our masculine and feminine within society is going to really allow us to be more healthier individuals. We're going to be better communicators. We're going to be more kind, more successful as a result. And we won't struggle as much with allowing ourselves to rest and recoup our energy, helping us to avoid future burnout, as I mentioned earlier. So understanding that everything in this world has a yin and yang, male and female, and a gestation period. It's only a matter of time before your circumstances change, right? The principle of gender can help us reinforce the belief that what you want in life is coming to you. What you are seeking is seeking you. So we need to really have faith. Oh, my slide won't move. There we go. Okay, so I've gone through the 7 foundational principles, and now I'm going to share with you the 8th principle that Mark talks about. I love this. This is the lost principle. It is the container that holds all of the other principles together. And he says it's lost because we're not exercising it. I'm not saying we as a community. I think we as a community, we are exercising the 8th principle, but I'm referring to the most of humanity. For those of you who know sacred geometry, this is the image here is known as the seed of life. So you can see 7 concentric circles in the middle. And then the 8th principle is actually the container that holds all these principles together. Just like a seed, right? It has an outer shell. So the 8th principle is a generative principle of care. Let's all breathe this in, care. The last principle is a dynamic of care. What we care about on a day-to-day basis is the driving force of our thoughts and our actions. This principle has often been known as a generative principle. The word generative is derived from the Latin verb genere, which means to create. Therefore, care can be seen as the ultimate generator, creator of the quality of our experience. Isn't that incredible? This principle has to be present, I do believe, for heaven on earth to be created. Now, what we care enough about to put our will and actions behind is what ultimately gets created in our world. Our reality is the way that it is because most people do not care enough, even if they say they want things to be different, to change it through their actions. So this is where we are going to be asked, how can we expand our level of care in our own life? How can you care more about your mind? How can you care more about your emotional body? How can you care more about your spirituality, your physical body? And so really thinking about how you can apply this in your life every single day. The sunlight is being suppressed. We can see this. We as humanity are being suppressed. Mother Nature is being suppressed. The outer manifestation or reflection of an inner distortion. And if we want to fix the distortion, we must learn to feel again. We must learn to care. And care comes through the emotional body, through the heart. So we're going to be expanding and really looking at the toroidal field of our heart. People think that if we do not have government, there would be chaos. The truth is, we are already living in chaos. We've been programmed to create chaos in our relationships and in our life. The majority of the population have not been taught how to truly love or care for one another. We are here to become self-governing through the principles of natural law. If you've taken my Together We Rise course, you'll learn how most relationships break up in the second cycle, which I call power integration, because they don't really know how to integrate their power. So they experience what I call power struggle. We are evolving, and it's imperative that we learn new skills in cultivating our divine power. So again, we are moving into that realm of self-governance. And when we begin to think and feel and act consistently within natural law, the result is going to be what? It is going to be freedom. And until then, we are simply handed privileges disguised as freedoms by our masters. And we do not need a master. We are sovereign. I trust that you realize that the Creator has given us natural law to take away the monotony of life, to take away the illusion, the fear, so we can rise up into greater freedom and happiness, right, as we are walking on this earth. Natural law really fulfills a promise of peace on earth to come and goodwill to men and women. So let us cultivate these principles. And as we do, we master our own mind, and therefore we do not need any master without. We become self-governing. Natural law will help us find the right way. So remember to have patience, my friends. These principles never rush. They move slowly, but with strength. So let's all make a conscious choice to create a soul life by design. Together we rise, everyone.